checking yourself in mirrors. Every time I look in a mirror, every time I brush my teeth, every time I'm close to a mirror, I look at the mirror, check it out, check it out, check it out. Is it still happening? This ideal image that I always had in my mind of how I look, it was shattered then. There was never a point that I thought, what if I don't have this one day?
How's it going, man?
How's it?
Tell me when you first noticed something's going on with the hair.
The first time was sometime in matric. That's what we call grade 12. We're standing at a tuck shop and a friend of mine was like, oh, dude, I can see your head through your hair. And I was like, thanks, dude. I don't know what you wanted to say by that, but it didn't really click then. I just remember that for some reason. I remember that moment. I know my hair isn't falling out. It's not thinning, but it is thin. I had thin hair. Like my mom had thin hair. It's just a thing. It's really, really thin. Just after matric, I had my first like real girlfriend, real relationship. We were together for about a year. For about a year, I never really looked at myself and thought I wasn't enough or something like that. I didn't really look at myself negatively because you feel like you're being loved. So I'm loving her, she's loving me. I feel like I'm validated. I don't need to worry about what I look like now at the moment. I was gymming still because fitness has always been a big thing for me. But at that point still, I wasn't feeling like, how can I explain? When you don't have a goal, then it's like every time I walk into a place, I'm like, am I going to have to approach her or her? And then if I do, will I get rejected? Is it because of the hair? It started just after the first girlfriend. That was in 2018. The first time I noticed it was here and there in a picture. And it was really subtle. It's really like just here at the front, just a little bit. I can see like, okay, not as thick as it used to be.
I guess you saw a picture and you thought, hey, something's like not right there.
Yeah, because the photo shoot was like a black and white thing. So that's when I noticed it after that photo shoot. The guy specializes in like black and white photography. And the light was just in a way that I didn't use before. It was this whole period of waiting for the photos to come. And then when it finally came, I had this huge expectancy. And then when I looked at it, something didn't feel right, but it was really subtle still. I still couldn't really recognize what was happening. I thought I saw something with my hair. A lot of people asked me, okay, so how was the photo shoot? And all my friends asked me, and I was like, no, I was okay. I wasn't really impressed. Felt like I was a bit disappointed in what I saw. But then at that point in time, I was still thinking it was something about my body. And then as time progressed, like I didn't really even look at the photos after that again because I was just so disappointed in them. A year after that, I started looking at them again and I started noticing, okay, so maybe it's there. I see a bit thinning here at the front. I see a bit thinning at the back. And I have this dent in my head, something about birth or whatever, I don't know. And because of this spot here, I could see like two spots also looking like it's thinning out. And it just put me off so much, like this whole image of this ideal image that I always had in my mind of how I look. It was shattered then. That's just after that relationship. I got the photo shoot. I saw the hair. It all just went down from there. That's about the tipping point, I'd say.
I want to kind of know, I guess, you actually said it really well, of like the image that you had of yourself was them. I guess it's under threat.
It's starting to be,
Yeah.
When you said that now, about like the first time you saw it and then you're checking with videos and stuff, I did the same thing. I mean, I guess everybody does. Like what we're talking about now is what, most of the people go through. They go through this, checking yourself in mirrors. Every time I look in a mirror, every time I brush my teeth, every time I go to the bathroom, every time I'm close to a mirror, look at the mirror, check it out, check it out, check it out. Is it still happening? It kind of feels like if you have a grandma or grandpa that's really old and the first time you hear they're going to the hospital now, they're in there for a week or a month or whatever. And they're not going to die then, you hope. And they get back from the hospital and everything's cool for a while. But you kind of know, okay, they're busy dying now. Like we're all busy dying, but they're like in that state. It's like, okay, now it's starting,
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that to me.
You sound like as well, obviously, you weren't someone who was previously insecure or not confident. It sounds like you were pretty confident, happy with how you looked, happy with how your life was going and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I got compliments about my hair. Always felt secure. Always, when you're busy with whatever, you're just taking it through, you're styling it again, and it just feels like, oh, so much hair,
Yeah.
There's never a point that I thought, what if I don't have this one day? That is also bald. My grandpa wasn't. So I always thought, okay, maybe it's gonna maybe it skips a generation, you know.
With the analogy of a grandparent or whatever, when they're getting old, they're on the decline. You know, they're not going up. They're on the decline.
Not getting better.
No. And I guess that's then how you felt about yourself, right? You were like, well, everything's downhill from here.
It's also a self-confidence knock, but it's different than other types. I remember a certain time in high school, some guy pushed me. I didn't know how to react, so I ended up not acting, you know. And I always got that in my mind and mulled it over at night, and it kind of shaped me. Maybe that's why I started training, you know, get bigger, people want to mess with you, whatever. But how can I put this? There wasn't something physically wrong with me. It wasn't something like there's something wrong with how I look, and that's why my confidence got knocked. It was like a situation, and that's what knocked my confidence, you know. But this is, like you said, now it's such a big personal change that you don't really know. Like you said, now it's basically the fear of the unknown, thinking, and oh man, yeah.
I think the difference is like how you described. There's obviously certain situations we go through where we'll have, like, I don't know, certain anxieties over, you know, anxieties is in like worries and fears, but this one is all, you cannot escape it. It's you. It's about your body. It's about who you are, how you look, how you present yourself to the world and whatnot. So you can never, you can't get away from that. It's always there.
That's a good explanation. It's inescapable. Yeah.
I suppose I've got to ask the obvious question that people always ask is, okay, where did you go next with it then? Like, were you Googling for treatments, for surgeries? Did you speak to anyone about it? Where did it kind of go next?
That's also the thing. I think all my friends have like insane hair, like amazing hair. None of them have even started to thin out, like what I could have seen. So it felt like I couldn't speak to them at all. Even if I could, I mean, what's it going to help? They're not able to relate. They're just going to give, like you said, some stupid advice or whatever.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Well, you're good if you even shave your head, you know. It doesn't help. So I just thought it doesn't help talking to anybody then, because anything they say is not going to make me feel better. Plus, I don't want to go bald, because you don't want to go bald, and I don't want to shave my head because I don't know how it's going to look. So it's this really, you're so trapped, you know. So I spoke with my mom, spoke with her about it, and instead of me really going out and trying to find something to use, or shampoo or pills or whatever, went out, got some stuff for me to use, something to put on when I go to sleep, and some pills. That was what I started using for a while. But still, every day I just look at it and I want to see results, and it's not getting there. I should be having faith that it's going to work, as I'm doing something to help it, but it's not helping. Literally, each time I did it, it felt like this is hopeless. It doesn't even help me trying. I started to get into meditation, and I read a lot of books about it, and watched a lot of videos about it and stuff. And I started to think, well, the power of meditation, you know, you can have anything you want. So why couldn't I have this? Why couldn't I have this thing? This is the thing I want most, you know. So according to law of attraction, all those kind of things, this should be the thing that I have to get this. It feels like the magnetic force or whatever. It should be, this is on point. This is going to be the way I show people even that meditation really works, because I can meditate on a thing, I can have the thing. And then I thought, okay, I'm doing this. I practiced it. I felt it. You know, you see the image in your mind. You're feeling the emotion. Oh, I have hair again. I have full hair. And look, I imagine myself seeing pictures of myself with a full head of hair, and it's going nowhere. Then I thought maybe there's something else I should try. Maybe I should try meditating on just having the money so I can go get a hair transplant. I looked at prices and stuff. That's also something I did a lot. Obsessed. I really got obsessed with researching, watching videos of people going through hair transplants. So for a while there, I gave myself, I wouldn't say false hope, because at that moment I still believed it. I believed 100% I was going to get the hair back by meditating on it. You know, so that was my big step. That was my big walking in faith, keep believing, but that shit burns you out, because it doesn't get you there. But nobody can tell you it doesn't get you there, because you need to believe that you're going to get there. So I can't listen to anybody saying, no, don't even try that, or it's not going to work. I needed to believe 100%. So I wouldn't talk to anybody about it. Maybe my mom, meditating day and night on it, really focusing on it, trying to see the image, me getting the hair. And I guess that was the biggest step. And after that didn't work, that's probably like the second tipping point. I went there.
A lot of guys will wear hats, or they'll use certain hairstyles, hair fibers. What was it for you?
For me, mostly it was hats. It's pretty acceptable to, in like when I went to a club and stuff, I'd see other guys with a lot of hair, like hair flowing out of the hair, flowing under the hat that I see it, okay, he's wearing a hat, so it's acceptable. You know, I can wear a hat and still look like maybe I have hair, even though I don't, or I don't have like it used to be. So it was mostly wearing a hat. I remember one time a girl asked me like, why do I always wear a hat? And I'm just like, I like wearing a hat, you know, or I didn't have time to do my hair before coming out. It came to a point where I was like, I can't do this forever, because I'd go to a party or something, there'd be a sleepover thing, or I'd go to a girl's sleepover there, and I'd sleep with the hat on. Like, unless it's dark, unless the light's off, I'm sleeping with the hat on, because tomorrow morning I'm waking up, she's waking up, she's going to turn over and see me, and she's going to see I have some hair issues. So I remember that's also one of the smaller tipping points, just one of those I can't do this forever moments where I woke up with the hat on and I'm just like, I can't keep doing this. This isn't natural. I try to see myself in the future, like if I look back, I'd probably laugh at myself for doing this, you know, for wearing the hat, trying to disguise what's happening when I'm too scared to face it. Like I just want to, like you said, with every time you look at it or something, you're reminded each time that you're still going through this, you know? So I ended up not checking so much like photos and stuff anymore. Still in the mirror, each time I look in the mirror, I'd just be like disgusted with myself, look in the mirror and then walk away. The funny thing is I never spoke to my dad about it. And he's the closest thing. We are close, but he's the closest guy I could have spoken to about it, because he went through the same thing. And I just felt like I could never talk to him about it, because maybe in my mind, I thought the moment I really talked to him about it, it'd be like, I've given up hope. I'm talking to him now. How can I live with this? I didn't want to live with it. I was in complete denial. Like, I don't want to live with this. I just wanted to keep pretending that it's no problem. You know, when we went to the beach, for instance, that'd be the worst. And I don't know how, but since I saw some of your videos, it got me thinking about maybe shaving my head in the future, but I didn't know exactly when yet. I haven't asked myself that question about why not today, you know? So we'd go to the beach and then I just have my hat on the whole time. And I don't know how, but at least some of the stuff that I saw from you, some of the guys that you posted videos about, gave me the confidence to actually go into the sea, even with my hair looking the way it looked, you know? So dude, going through a wave, getting up there and the hair's just all messed up, because especially when it's wet, you know, you need to have, or me, I needed to have just showered, just done my hair, just did all the things that's necessary to keep it looking the best it can. And from that point on, the rest of the day, it's not going to look as great again, especially getting it wet. That's like the worst. So I just walked there feeling self-conscious, like super self-conscious, walking there on the beach, out of the sea, back to the tent, getting in there under the gazebo or whatever, getting my towel, drying my head off, putting the hat back on.
I'm so happy that where you're just like, you know what, like, okay, my hair looks shit. I'm at the beach. Like, you know, you just kind of like, dude, I'm at the beach. I'm here to have a good time, not constantly worry about my hair this whole day, you know? And you force yourself out of that comfort zone. You force yourself into being uncomfortable. But when you did that, and I don't know how much you've thought about this, but then you got through it and you kind of realized this is okay. And that is so important. And that's actually a huge deal to really change your perspective. How does it transition then? How did it kind of change from there?
So like you said, now you kind of you're frustrated, but to a point where I just can't care anymore. I can't care this much anymore. I felt like I needed to push myself to care, to be able to think, okay, for instance, doing a transplant or whatever, needed to care that much to push myself to work, to get the money to get the hair transplant, or to get a loan from a friend, family member. I wasn't going to ask my dad, because he would just, it's the same thing. I don't want to ask him, because he's going to know I care this much about it. And what does that make me look like, you know? Yeah, I just kind of got tired of caring that much about it. This is a weird thing, but I got to a point where the first real relationship I had, it kind of felt like that was my goal. I always thought I was going to marry her, and when it didn't work out, it was a big thing, but that's another story. The thing is just, it made me feel like I had the perfect life there, even if it was just for a while, you know? Let's say you are whatever, some professional cricket player or whatever, you're not going to be doing that for your whole life. You're not going to be competing your whole life. So there's a moment where you're going to be like at your peak, and then you like go out with a bang, and then it's like life after the peak, you know? And I convinced myself this is going to be life after the peak. You know, I can't care this much anymore. It's just not practical. I can't keep wearing a hat. It irritates the crap out of me. And it's warm, for instance, and it's itchy, and in the club it's sweaty. You know, it's not practical at all. So basically, I convinced myself maybe I had all that I need to have in life. Maybe all the accomplishments and stuff I had while I had hair was all that I need. I was happy with that. I mean, if I have another accomplishment, it's just going to happen and then it's going to be over again. You know, I kind of had this progressive kind of mentality of you can't have the thing that makes you happy the whole time, you know. So it's just kind of like I convinced myself if I had all the stuff that made me happy before and I'm never going to have anything that's going to make me happy again, I'm never going to have a girl again, that's fine. I just want to be over with this now. Like, I'm so over this. Kind of like you said, you have this fear of the unknown and you don't know how far this is going to go, what's going to happen, all of that. I knew that I couldn't possibly think of all the consequences that this would have. And in my mind, it was going to be bad. You know, it's going to be bad. So in my mind, everything is bad. All the consequences of this, bad as hell. It's going to be the worst life ever from this point forward. But I was happy with what I had up until that point. And basically, I was thinking, even all the unknown fears that I don't even know would even happen one day, I'm just going to make peace with that and focus on, for instance, gymming. I know gym. I love gymming. Yeah. Try to find a work that I really love. I'm doing personal training now, which is what I want to do. So I'm in it. I want to be in. I was thinking, I'm just going to enjoy that. I'm going to create value for people. I'm going to be the best possible version of myself for someone else, just to help other people.
When did you actually finally go for it?
I can't imagine having suffered years until I finally did it, like instead of doing it when I did it now. I can't imagine the amount of pressure those guys feel. Like, I see guys breaking down, crying and stuff because it's just so liberating. And it was for me as well. I moved from my hometown to the coast. That's where I'm working now. My parents came with me. They helped me move in. And I told my mom, listen, I'm going to shave my head. So would you please help me do it? It actually felt a lot easier than I was anticipating it. That's a big thing I have to say. I was expecting this big climactic happening and event stuff. And I know, looking back, it is that big. The mindset that I was in of denying it, of not ever thinking of I'm going to do it. It should be a bigger thing than it actually was. But at the end, it was kind of just like, oh, okay, now it's over. You know, I remember morning waking up because the night before I told my mom, listen, we're going to do this tomorrow morning. Woke up and then I was kind of like, oh shit, yeah, this is now, and I'm going to have to face this. But feeling of other people that I used to know in my hometown, that would have been a lot worse if I had to do it there with other people that I know. I'm going to see all these people. Each of them have seen me before. Each of them are going to have a different, response. And I was dreading that. So I think that's why I also denied it a long time. Even before I knew that I was going to move here, that was really difficult. I thought that was trapped. That was really trapped. I felt really trapped there. So I have a lot of respect for guys doing it like in their own hometown, like in the situation. So I guess I was lucky for having moved to a new place and starting over. I have family here. It's my aunt and uncle and my two cousins. They all responded in such a positive way when I saw them yesterday. I just couldn't believe it, I mean, I could believe it because it's family. You always expect family to treat you well and stuff, but they just had such a positive response.
You talked about the word lucky there, and you were like, oh, I was lucky to be doing it here and not in your hometown. And I suppose, yeah, that is lucky when you think of it like that. But obviously, don't forget that the situation you're in now is you've designed that for yourself. You're there because of decisions to like progress in your life and stuff like that, and I'm sure that aspect of it would have tied into the confidence to finally go for it, because, moving away, starting a new job, moving away from family and friends, that takes confidence in itself. That's you moving on in life that all people need to do. It's that is an uncomfortable situation for other reasons, and that takes a certain level of courage. Obviously it's exciting to do those things, but you still have to actually follow through with them, and I'm sure that the momentum of all of those things really helped for you to feel in a position where you were comfortable to be like, okay, now I feel I'm doing these other things, to like move on in my life.
Yeah.
And this is the hair situation is something that has been holding me back or whatnot. And the momentum would have definitely carried you forward with that, and I think that's an important thing that guys can sort of think about is, if you feel really stuck with the hair stuff, what other like parts of your life can you work on moving forward to like build momentum there that will carry over to you having the courage to actually get rid of the hair that's been holding you back as well, you know? So luck, yeah. But you were in that position because of the choices that you had been making, you know? It wasn't like someone kidnapped you to like in a place where you knew no one and said like, okay, now you need to shave your head, you know? But I do get it, because the friends and stuff, the reactions from people that you've known for a long time and who probably had no idea about, you know, the hair situation, again, because you've probably done a good job of covering it and whatnot, or you'd at least tried to, right? They would maybe react differently because it would have been a shock to them, you know, like, what the hell, like, why have you shaved your head? And that's all they really see. They see it at total like face value, like, why would you shave your head? And that's all they kind of know about it, you know? And sometimes that does happen, you know, people are like, what's with that then, you know? So but I would encourage you, obviously, as time goes on, you know, again, those are things for, you know, when you visit back home and stuff, totally face those things head on, you know, and just be like, yeah, dude, like when your hair is falling out, like it's not a fun time. So this is, you know, I cut that out of my life and got on with things. And that's all you really need to say and do. And then people are like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Like, I get it. It's really good. I'm really glad to see you have, you're making these steps forward. And
yeah, that's a good point you're making about building momentum. I didn't realize it until right now that's it. And it just kind of happened, you know. It felt like the whole moving year thing, saying goodbye to friends and family and stuff, it kind of eclipsed the shaving my head thing. Like the smallest other thing I could do, you know. It's a really good point, building momentum. It's like I made so many big changes, making another one is like, it's nothing, you know. I already did one, you know, so yeah, that's really good.
Thanks for getting in touch, you know, and for sharing the story. And I'm really excited to see you go, you know, this was a big thing, but even better, and this is again the most important point, is yeah, we've had a chat here about the hair loss and stuff like that, because that's what we're trying to share with the world. But you've obviously got so many other things going on in your life, and that's what you're really about. You know, if we met in person down the coffee shop or whatever, you know, that's what we'd be talking about. That's what I'd be asking about, you know, all of the stuff that you are actually about. And it's great to realize, like, okay, I'm not just hair, you know, like it sounds so silly saying it, doesn't it? Like, oh, I'm not just my hair. But, you know, that's like what you kind of, that's unfortunately, that's the thoughts that you can kind of get into. Obviously realize, you know, it's about so much more. And kudos to you, man. Props to you for doing that.
Thanks, man. I'm grateful for this happening, you know, and I never thought I would say this. The time when I would hear advice, I would even look at your videos and then think, yeah, that guy's saying that now, and it looks like he had a breakthrough, but I'm not going to take this in. I'm just going to keep it out there. I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to do this. You know? I was really in denial. Even if I heard the answer, it's all going to work out, I would just reject it, you know. Moving from that to here, it took a big leap, and as it does for all the guys. And like I said, I'm really grateful, because it feels like not all people, but some people who go through this, it really changes them in a way that they get so much more kindness and humility, and they're just so much nicer to other people. I don't know how to explain it. If I could have given myself advice, I'd just say that, you know, there's other people in my life that are going through the same thing. And if I have to be the one that takes the first step, and I need to be the one who shows them that you can do this, even though it doesn't make it that much better for me, but knowing that it makes it better for them helps me do it, you know.
We'll end as we started, and thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.